Whenever people get nervous, they all do the same thing. They buy random emergency gear. I'm guilty of it too. Big knife, fancy pouch, radio they don't know how to use, gas masks, survival Amazon nonsense. Meanwhile, they still don't have a real flashlight, backup power, or extra water. That's not preparedness, that's panic shopping.
Needs more duct tape.
This video is for people starting from zero, not the final boss of preparedness or people who think they need a bunker in the backyard. For normal people like you and me. Before you go out and start buying random cool stuff on the internet, let's build your first layer the right way.
I got some duct tape.
First thing is light, because most problems get worse the second the lights go out. So you don't need the flashlight that Batman uses to interrogate people on the roof. You just need one that works when things in your apartment get weird. And here's a quick point. Your phone is not a flashlight. This is a communication device cosplaying as a flashlight. Get a real flashlight. Put it somewhere where you know it's gonna be. Next to your bed, by the door, in a bag. Simple, boring, dependable, beat tactical every time.
Did somebody say flashlights? I got all the flashlights.
You can see what's going on.
Most beginners skip light because it feels too basic. That's dumb. Real problems usually start with darkness. Outages, hallways, stairwells, weird building stuff. A real flashlight beats your phone battery every time.
Second, backup power. Because if your phone dies, you just turned a small problem into a bigger problem.
Excuse me, I am the power bank. What would this guy do without me? You're welcome.
Now, half of preparedness is not owning the thing, it's knowing where the thing is, having it ready, and being able to access it when you need it. So, get a power bank, keep it charged, keep the cord with it, and don't turn your emergency setup into a scavenger hunt.
Your phone is basically your backup brain right now. Map, info, contacts, alerts, payment, everything. So when it dies, your options die with it. One charged power bank with the cord attached solves a very first problem.
Hey, real quick, if you're still watching, you're my type of people. Do me a favor, mash that like button and shoot me a subscribe. It's crazy times out here, and let's shoot this video to as many people who actually need it. Appreciate you guys watching. Let's get back into it. Third is water. And yes, this can be boring. And yes, that's why a lot of people skip it. And yes, that's also why it's so important. Buying all this cool, expensive gear is great, but if you don't have 72 hours worth of water, you might just die. So you don't need to be Mr. Joe Cool Tactical Wilderness, but you do need to have backup water. And having just a few extra gallons of water around can already put you ahead of most people.
Water is boring, which is exactly why people skip it, right? Then they buy filters, gadgets, and survival nonsense before storing a single extra gallon. Start simple, bottles, jugs, whatever fits in your space.
Fourth is medical basics, not movie medical kit, basic medical kit. So a lot of people prepare for the dramatic, crazy emergency and ignore the fact that the reality is you're probably just gonna be treating everyday problems.
I got it. I don't got it.
You might need bandages, you might need ibuprofen or an ice pack or your personal prescription. A small, everyday, accessible kit beats a big trauma cosplay loadout every time.
I don't got it.
So most people buy medical gear for drama, not reality, right? But real life use looks more like headaches, cuts, allergies, stomach problems, and prescriptions. A small kit you understand beats a giant med bag you'd never even open.
Fifth is gonna be one grab and go system. Not because the bag is magic, but because chaos can be costly. If all your gear is spread around your apartment, you do not have a system. You have a problem. Now, I don't care what it is. It can be a backpack, it can be a drawer or a bin, or you can keep it all in one large tube sock. As long as all of your first layer gear is easily accessible in an emergency, that's what matters. Preparedness starts getting real when your basics stop being random.
So we should bring the gas mask, right?
No, we don't.
Should we program the biofang?
Definitely not.
All right. How about the big power bank? Let's bring the big power bank.
That's overkill.
What about iodine tabs?
Not right now.
Okay, non-lethals. We definitely need non-lethals.
Definitely not.
Now, here's where people get cooked. They read chapter 9 before they read chapter 1. They buy a big old nice knife before they buy a regular cool flashlight. They buy a gas mask before they buy backup water. They buy a cool big tactical backpack before they know how to pack it. I'm not saying that all these things aren't great to have. I have them. I'm just saying people are buying them too early.
Fail.
Being prepared for an emergency is not about accumulating random gear. It's about solving likely friction in the right order. I don't prepare for fantasy. I prepare for friction. If you're building your first layer and it feels boring, it should. You're probably doing it the right way. So if you're brand new to all this, you don't need to defeat the final preparedness boss in the first fight. Just get a flashlight, get you a small meds kit, store some water, get some backup power, and put them all in one place. Then you're already gonna be more prepared than most people. Stop buying emotion and fear and start buying function and freedom. Stop buying emotion and fear and start buying function and freedom. Build in layers, start in order, and stay ready.